Hey, I would greatly appreciate it if you can go to ebay.com, type in Latrice Limited, and then it'll say store. Click on that and then go and support me. I have a variety of different items. I got ties, I got my own Latrice Limited stuff on there, candles, soaps, bath bombs. I have books. I have a large variety of different things on there. I would greatly appreciate it if you could support me. Now we're going to get right into the video. So, the infamous question, y'all. Okay. Ooh, let me have a sipperoo. The infamous question: should men make the first move? I know you may be like, well, Alex, men have always been making the first move. What are you talking about? Right? No. Niet. That's not what is happening nowadays. Okay. Because you have a lot of these men who are saying that it is very difficult to do it. And they're saying the reason why they're not is because they do not want to offend the woman. And I may be like, what do you mean offend? And that's what I was wondering. I'm like, what do you mean offend? Okay, you asking me, I'm asking this person over here, what's going on? I'm confused. So the whole thing is like, well, nowadays you can't say anything to a woman. You can't give her a compliment without her saying like you're a pervert. You can't look at her without, someone going on TikTok and being like, oh, well, this guy's a creep. Look, he's a creep, doing all this other kind of stuff. So they're like, that's why I'm not making the first move. It's difficult, right? So should men be making the first move? In my opinion, I think it really depends on your personality and the person's personality that you're interested in as well. All right. So you have some women who will make the first move and it's like nothing to them. They're like, yeah, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah. They're very extroverted, blah, blah. Right. And you may be very much introverted. Okay. So it's like, if she's willing to do it, cool. Now, what I would say in that scenario is, just wait it out. Wait out for a couple moments. If you made eye contact with her and she made eye contact with you and maybe a couple minutes passed and she ain't said anything to you, she probably will not be saying anything to you. Okay. So in that instance, you'll be like, you know what? Let me go over there and let me go see what's going on, depending on your location and the settings, of course. All right. Now you would then be over there, be like, hey, how is it going? Da, 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 da. Boom. Now you have a little bit of an outlet in. Okay. But if she's not showing you any interest and you're not, then it's like, so that's another thing about it. It's always been a guessing game. It's always been something that you kind of just have to fill the room for. You just kind of have to be like, let me see. Is she interested? Nah, no ring. Oh, she's with her homegirl. Sometimes you have people who will just be with other people and they don't want to be bothered with you, but what's the worst she could say? No, you know what I mean? It's not like she's gonna be like, oh, look at you, you nasty, no one's gonna be doing all that. You're average person anyways. But I would say, if you want to show that you are assertive, that you are confident, I would say, yeah, making the first move would be the very first thing. It would be a great impression to show like, hey, I'm not afraid to get out of my comfort zone. I wouldn't mind doing certain things for you, getting out of my comfort zone if we were together. So let me get over here. So I think that's, it's kind of bare minimum, it doesn't really require too much. So I have an idea about all this stuff in regards to making the first move and why a lot of people are kind of timid with it. It's the whole thing of social media and social isolation that comes with it. Okay. Because everything so far has been, okay, well, I could just go and type, hey, you're cute. Or I could go and let me double click on Instagram and like the person's thing. And that would show like, that's me making the first move. It's like, no, that's not. and also you have to be in your league. Okay. Don't be some frumpy looking dude who's making, 40 grand a year. And then you're trying to hook up with this Instagram model looking chick. Okay. Let's not do that. Okay. Now, if it happens, it could happen. But know your lane as well. That goes for women too. You know what I mean? Don't be, this frumpy looking chick, not really taking care of herself, whatever, nasty attitude, walking around looking like that. And you're going to think you're going to get a Will Smith. That's not going to happen. Okay. So you got to, stay in your lane a little bit for both sides. But that's also a thing. I just feel like with social isolation, that's something that kind of hinders people's comfortability with being in public with one another and talking and doing this and doing that, you know. So that's one of the things. It's like you're just gonna have to get out of it. Now people have said, oh well, you could just get on like social media apps, you know, such as like dating stuff like that, like a Tinder, or if you're for it, Grinder, or you know, OK Cupid, farmersonly.com, Black People Meet, all that kind of stuff. Okay, now you can do that if that is something that you are wanting to do. My personal thing, I've been on those kind of dating apps before, Tinder mostly, and I don't recommend it. I've only met one person of quality on there, and you know, we're friends, you know, so I wouldn't recommend you use those. I mean, I could see how it's easy because, hey, I could just be laying in my bed and swipe, swipe, swipe and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like you got a lot of weirdos on there. You have a lot of people who they may be one way virtually than they are in person, you know. So it's a lot of other things that you really have to consider when you start messing with those kind of apps. And yes, you know, some people, their stuff works. A lot of times it does not. Also, from what I have read, there are a lot more males on social media dating apps than there are females. So you may have a guy who's doing a lot of, what is it, swipe right if you like them, and you may have a lot of that. And then women, because you know, there's a lot less, I mean, there's a lot of y'all, less of us on there. We could just swipe left and you know, you probably aren't getting that many matches, but she is, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like you're already at a disadvantage on that. So I say the best way to do everything is just to meet somebody in person. Now let me have a sip. I gotta have a sip-a-roo, y'all, before I get into this. This may hurt some people's feelings. Okay. Now, don't be a creep, y'all. Okay. Do not be a creep. Do not be stalking or approaching women at these particular areas. I'm sure there are more. Okay. I know there are more. But these ones in particular, please don't do it, y'all, because that just comes off as weird and you're gonna make people very uncomfortable. And then now she's gonna have to lie and be like, oh well, you know, I got you know, my avocado is going bad, or come on. All right, so okay, let's get into it. All right, I'm gonna get into it, y'all. Do not be approaching people at work. Please don't. You know, the whole dating in the office and stuff, trust me, I've done it before I even went to the job. Okay, so that was not like I was seeking actively. All right. And I don't recommend it. I do not recommend it. Okay, people start getting jealous, people start getting hateful and all that stuff. Do not date your coworkers, don't date your supervisors or anything like that. All right, now with that being said, do not go to people's jobs. Okay, if you got a Kroger and you're like, ooh, that cashier, she is cute, let me go. Don't, come on, man, she can't go anywhere. You're like holding someone hostage. Please don't do that. Making people uncomfortable. And then if you go to this one frequently, then it's gonna be this awkward kind of like, oh, you know what I mean? Come on, y'all, let's not do that. All right, if she's a bartender, please don't hit on her because she can't go anywhere, y'all. Okay, so I guess that's your easy prey. Come on, you have some more self-confidence than that, than me messing around with a waitress. Wait till she's off hours. Don't be doing it while people's working. Okay, don't go to anybody's job while they're working and try to, you know, slide the digits up in there, get in her DMs or anything like that. Please don't do that. So I know, ooh, some of y'all like, man, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Yeah, I know. Another one, and this one could be in and out, gyms. All right, now you do have some people who do like little gym programs with groups and stuff like cycling or something like that, but just gyms in general, you have a lot of people who just go there to work out. I know, it's crazy. It's weird, right? You have a lot of people who just go there to work out, and they're vulnerable, whether they're trying to lose weight or they're trying to just continue the way that they're at, whatever the case may be. They may be feeling self-conscious, and they don't need somebody, some weirdo looking at them like, doing the LL Cool J lips out. Yeah, I want that. It's like, come on, man. Listen, wait till she leaves or something. You know what I mean? Just don't be doing that up in there. Now, you have had times where, you know, you got people who go in there. And another thing that women do not like as if they're doing something and you're always trying to mansplain and correct her in every way. Oh, well, you should be holding it like this and get your body like this. Come on. I didn't even ask you to come over here, So that's another thing I would say do not do. Another one, do not go into gas stations. Do not try to holler at somebody at a gas station, okay? Because for me, when I'm pumping my gas, I'm in and out. I'm like this, okay? Like today, I was pumping my gas. I'm in and out. I'm going like this. I'm looking around, make sure there's no craziness. I always make sure I go to this one particular gas station so I don't have to really do too much looking around, okay? Because there's not too many outlets to get in. But I'm like, okay, I'm a look because, I've seen some crazy stuff that's going on and people snatching people up, people doing all this other stuff. So yeah, I would feel very uncomfortable if I'm pumping my gas and you're like, hey miss, can I talk to you? And because I'll be trying to think, well, is this some kind of weird diversion? What's going on? Why are you bothering me in here? Now, I'm talking about pumping gas. Now, if you were to go in the gas station, I guess that's a different story because now we're in a building, but still, you know what I mean? I'm trying to pump gas and do my shite. Now, you may say, okay, Alex, I can't mess with somebody at work. I can't mess with someone at the gym, and I can't mess with someone at the gas station. Well, where else am I supposed to do it? Online is the only way. It is the way, right? Well, there's some other things that you can do. One, if you go to like blackpeoplemeet.com, that commercial that they had where the black person, she's looking at orange and he's looking at something else, and then they look at each other and stuff like that. You could go to a grocery store. Okay. You could go to a grocery store, approach her there. Maybe she's in, I don't know, the produce aisle or something. And you could be like, oh, well, I have this, blah, blah. And then you could say, hey, maybe I make smoothies and, I have this and I mix it over here. Here's the health food thing, whatever. You could spark up a conversation that way, just something a little small like that. Like, oh yeah, I've tried that. That's really good. Even if you ain't ever tried it. You could be like, hey, I tried that. That's really good. Oh, really? Oh, da, 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 da. Yeah. How's your day going? Boom. Now you got an outlet. Okay. Another thing that you can do, and this is the most common one, is go to a bar. I'm not saying you got to go to a club. I'm talking about a bar. Okay. You ain't got to be like twerking or doing all this other stuff. Okay. Now you could go to a bar and just actually go to the bar, go to the bar area. Cause you got some restaurants that have bars, but you could do that too. Go to a restaurant, go to the bar, whatever. And you could just sit at the bar. And if you see someone that comes up or whatever the case may be, and let's say it's just a great opportunity, and you look, maybe the person's by themselves, maybe they have a friend or whatever, they usually have TV screens on of some kind of sport, and you could make a comment out loud. Be like, let's say if they're not going to put MMA on there, but let's say it's basketball, for example. Oh, wow, this person is really cool. Hey, do you enjoy basketball? Oh, no, I don't really like basketball. I really like soccer. Oh, really? You like soccer? Well, yeah, I like soccer, blah, blah. And boom, there's an outlet right there. You know what I mean? Now, if you see that she is like not trying to really engage you and is like turning away and like, then you need to stop. Okay. Just read the body language. Don't be a creep. Don't be annoying. Okay. Especially if she's with somebody else or even if she's by herself and you just see that her body language is kind of just like, okay, please stop talking to me. Please stop talking to me. Please stop talking to me. Okay. So it's going to be like okay, maybe you just stop and then just stop. And then maybe a couple minutes later, she may say something again and want to engage. That right there would confirm, okay, so this is something that could possibly get going. You know what I mean? Another place you can go, if you're down, go to a library, go to like a Barnes and Nobles. They don't have Borders anymore. Go to one of those kind of places. And then, if you see someone, be like, hey, blah, blah. And now don't make it weird, okay? You were in the sports section. She's in the nonfiction section. And don't be like stalking behind each aisle, okay? Just don't be making it weird. That's the problem that I've noticed too. Some guys be making things look weird and they say, well, no, this is just how I am. No, that looks weird, dude. If the person's over here looking at you like, oh God, then you did something wrong, okay? Another place, certain stores, like if you're in like a Target or something like that, malls, if people are still going to them like that, you could do something like that. grab a hobby. If you like to bike, if you like MMA, whatever the case may be, and maybe you could get some things going right there, so it's a lot of different volunteer events. There's a lot of different things that you can do, you know what I mean? And this would all be you making the first move. This is all bare minimum stuff. It's just you engaging and you being able to just, hey, how are you, blah 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 blah, and then just keep it going. Now I have some other important parts in terms of making the first move, y'all. And that is actually, when you do it, you want to actually engage in the conversation. Don't be like, hey, how was your day? Oh, it was great. I went to HEB and I went and got, a dragon fruit today. Oh, okay. And then it's just like silence. Oh, so, what kind of car do you drive? Oh, I drive a Toyota Camry. Okay. So what's your favorite color? Oh, it's pink. Okay. It's like, obviously I'm dumbing it down a little bit, but I've heard that kind of stuff, especially when you would go on Tinder and all that kind of stuff. They'll ask a question, you'll answer, elongated and everything. And they're like, oh, okay. All right, cool. And it's like, why am I even wasting my time talking to you? It's talking to a wall. You know what I mean? It's like, check 1 for if you like it, check 2. And it's like, okay, I'm not doing this. So another thing you can do, engage and actually engage in conversation. Don't be that guy that is just so freaking, it's like, okay, I don't even need to be talking to you, dude, because you're wasting my time right now. Don't do that. Also, please, 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 please. And it's also definitely fill out the woman. But please do not just resort to talking about sex as the first thing, even on the first 2 dates, whatever. Please don't do that, y'all. Okay? Because not everybody wants to do that. Okay? Not everyone wants to just give it up right then and there. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't just be like, oh man, I bet I can make your panties wet. And it's that right there is a turn off. I'll be like, okay, so that's what you want. You could go and find that somewhere else, because I'm not really interested in that, like I said, definitely fill the person out, but that kind of stuff where it's like, yeah, you're sexy, your booty fat girl, and this and that, it's like, okay. And it's like, that's all you got is just commenting on the way that I look. Okay, I could get somebody else who could actually give me a real conversation and comment on the way that I look. So why am I wasting time with you? So that's also another thing. Save that stuff for later. Okay. And hey, if she really wants to, have a transaction with you. Okay. If she really wants to have a transaction with you, she'll do it when she's ready. Okay. But when you start pressuring people to do it, it's like, even if I was wanting to do it, it's like when someone asks you, you're about to go and wash the dishes. And then someone says, go wash the dishes. Oh, now I don't want to do it because you just told me. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, maybe she wants to, do it with you. But now you just been like, from the get-go, you're like, okay, yeah, let's fuck. It's like, I'm good. I gotta do something else. Also, be chivalrous. All right? And to tag on to that, plan actual dates, y'all. And the whole dates do not have to be expensive. You ain't going to a Red Ash or a Jake Carver unless you got money. I don't think that you really need to be bringing women to those kind of dates, because that is already setting the standard very high, saying like, okay, I'm gonna be spending a whole bunch of money on you, and you may end up attracting the wrong woman. Okay, if you are comfortable, depending on how you know her, if this was a friend of yours or whatever the case may be, yeah, you may invite her to your house and cook for her. But if y'all are not at that level, maybe, you guys have a nice little date somewhere. I don't recommend movie theaters because you can't talk and y'all just sitting there, really. But what you can do, maybe take her to like I don't know if they even have them around like that, but like a Baker Squares, take her to something like that. Even if it's like a Red Lobster. I mean, you could take her to a Jay Carver if you want, but also know that if you are doing that, and for people who don't know, Jay Carver is a very expensive place in downtown Austin, but it's very good. I've been there twice, I think, and I've been to Red Ash twice as well, and it's very good. But you're gonna be paying, but it is good. but it's like, okay, you're kind of sending off a message like, I'm going to provide this for you and this and this and this. And she may not be worth it, yo. So that's also something just to be very careful not to be doing all this flashy stuff in the beginning because she may not want that. Also, another thing, like I said, being chivalrous. Open some doors for her, yo. Don't be that dude that's like, you opening the door for yourself and then it's closing her face. Yet you want her to give you some cooch later on. No. That's not how that works. And don't drop it once you get the cooch either, okay? Still be a gentleman. I mean, this is bare bones. I haven't mentioned anything that is, out there that's crazy. I'm not saying take her on a private jet or anything like that. You could have a nice picnic somewhere. You could have just a nice, walk around the park or something like that. And then maybe you go to like a Mandola's or something like that to go eat later on, but there's a lot of things that you can do that are very much inexpensive, and it just simply does not require that much. People always say, oh man, dating is expensive. I mentioned one meal that you could have with her, and you could take her to the park. You could take her over here to whatever else that y'all do, maybe a bowling alley. It ain't that expensive, y'all. Okay. Either y'all just cheap or she's making you spend a lot more money than you are willing to do, But I just feel like this, to kind of sum it all up. Yes, in my opinion, I feel like the man should make the first move. That's what I like. Yes, I have made it. I have made the first move myself. And it is what it is. But I kind of like it when a guy does it for me, so I don't have to do the extra work and you're doing it. And it's like, okay, cool. I like this a lot. But yeah, I mean, just think about all the other points that I gave. These are just my opinions and how I think, things would be working out in a better way. But those are my thoughts and opinions on said situation.